Hey guys, and welcome back to another vlog. If you are new here, welcome. My name's Sophie and I run the travel blog Sophie's Suitcase. It is all about outdoor adventure, pushing yourself to the limit and making new connections. So this vlog is all about some of my favourite travel memories. I've been inspired recently by my friend Sandy, who did a very similar video, and she came up with some words that were super important to her, and then found trips that she's been on over the last couple of years that have really kind of stuck in her memory and created some incredible memories that will last a lifetime. So I wanted to do the same, so I have come up with, I think I did 6 or 7 words which mean a lot to me, and the trips that relate to those words. So I will get started. So we are starting with the word adventure, and the trip that I'm going to be looking back on for that word is my recent trip to the Peak District in July of 2021. So back in July I went to the Peak District with none other than Sandy, and we spent a couple of days exploring everything the Peak District has to offer, from hiking up to Mam Tor, having a look at the views across Winnett's Pass, to many other bits and bobs, including a trip to Bakewell and trying their famous Bakewell puddings, stopping at a couple of pubs along the way, as well as just spending time together. We did lots of hiking and lots of outdoor adventures, and for me it was just a really great trip that kind of reminded me how much I love the great outdoors and how much adventure really means to me. So the next word I'm going to use for a memorable trip is nature. Now this is a common theme that runs through nearly every trip I go on anyway, but my trip to Switzerland in June 2019, I think it was, with one of my best friends Katie, was just jam-packed full of nature. We spent an entire week exploring Basel, Lucerne, and then we headed to Zurich as well for a few days towards the latter end of the week. We went swimming down the river in Basel. We explored on foot many of the city's most famous landmarks on a walking tour. We then headed to Lucerne and went hiking in the many mountains that surround that area of Switzerland, and then we also went paragliding and saw some of the most incredible views of Switzerland. And I'm so thankful for Katie for pushing me outside of my comfort zone for that day that we headed up to go paragliding, because I nearly bailed on that, but I'm so thankful that I didn't. And then the latter end of the week we spent a couple of days in Zurich, which as itself is a very modern and developing city, but we actually just ended up spending a lot of time on the lake because the weather was so good during the week that we were there. We spent a lot of time walking around the lake, on the lake, swimming in the lake, relaxing by the side of the lake, and it was just all about nature and being outside. Okay, and my third word is challenge, and this one is a little bit more recent than any of the others as well, because it is from a recent trip I did to Portugal. Now again, this was with Sandy. I think this might be a recurring theme throughout this video. So me and Sandy have just got back from an incredible week in Ericeira in Portugal, where we spent not only a couple of days in Lisbon, but then a week in Ericeira at a surf camp. And it was just the most challenging, both mentally and physically, the most challenging week of our lives, I think. It was a whole new experience, which obviously was incredible that we got to do it together, but we both pushed ourselves to our absolute limits. We were getting up at 5:30 in the morning some days to go and surf for 2 hours down on the beach, and then we would also spend the days hiking, heading down to the beach to play volleyball, connecting with people after 18 months of not really any socialising. And mentally and physically we were both exhausted after this trip, but also I personally felt like it had reignited that kind of spark for culture and people and travel and love around the world once more. So for me it was definitely the word challenge for this trip, but also it was just the best experience ever. And the next word that I want to include here is exactly the same as what Sandy did, and it is friendship, and it is from our trip to Sri Lanka back in February 2020, just before the pandemic hit the world and changed everything. But this trip is very close to my heart because me and Sandy have been super close anyway, but then that trip ended up just being us two travelling through Sri Lanka over the space of 8 days, and it was just the most incredible time. We got to spend all week together, of course, but then we also got to experience some incredible moments together which we will both remember for a lifetime, including seeing elephants, hiking to see views of Sigiriya Rock, and visiting families in their local communities in the foothills. So it was a once in a lifetime trip, and I'm so thankful that I got to experience it with Sandy. And my next word is family, and this word is very much related to the memorable trip I did to Cyprus back in May 2019 with my mum, my dad, my brother and his girlfriend Katie, and then me and Theo and Bella. So we hired a villa in Aphrodite Hills in Cyprus, and it was just the most amazing week. It isn't often these days that I get to travel very much with my family, because I'm either on a work trip or I'm trying to travel and work whilst I'm there. So I often go with Sandy or Theo, who can help me behind the camera, but this trip was really special to me because it was the last time kind of before COVID that all eight of us were together, and had been in a really long time. So I'm very thankful for that trip. We spent the entire week just kind of exploring the island of Cyprus. We went to the Blue Lagoon in the north, we went out for dinner in Paphos. We spent a lot of time on the resort site, swimming in our private pool and going out for dinner at the resort. My parents played golf. It was just one of those kind of like family holidays that felt very natural, and it felt fun and effortless, and it was just the best trip. The next word for me is achievement, and for me this goes back to September 2018, which is the furthest I've really gone back in this video, but it goes back to one of my first ever paid press trips, which was such an incredible achievement for me back then, and I was so thankful to go on a trip with Traverse Events and Princess Cruises. And not only was it a paid trip, which was incredible within itself for me at the time, it felt like a real achievement that I had finally been able to start earning money from my blog after 6 years of hard work. But it was also the most incredible trip as well, which was very lucky, and I'm very thankful for. It was also the start really of me and Sandy's friendship, which obviously has blossomed ever since, as well as spending a lot of time with a few other travel bloggers as well, who are also now lifelong friends. So I'm super thankful for that trip, and will be forever grateful for Traverse and Princess Cruises for kind of kick-starting that business mindset for me, for this channel, for my Sophie's Suitcase blog and everything else comes with it. And my penultimate word is love, and it's from actually a very kind of low-key trip to Dorset earlier this year, as we came out of the third lockdown and things starting to reopen up. Me and Theo booked a trip to Dorset and stayed in a beautiful Airbnb on the coast, and we just spent 3 days, I think it was, just together with Indy by the water, doing activities, walking, eating, and just enjoying being away together for the first time in like, I don't know, maybe I think it was like a year, just us. So it was a beautiful trip. I was very thankful to be away after 4 months of winter in England in lockdown, but yeah, it was just full of love, and we had so much fun. We went paddleboarding, we went to Corfe Castle, we also did a hike down to Old Harry Rocks, and yeah, we just explored. We got the car ferry across the sandbanks from Swanage, and just kind of spent the day and a whole weekend just kind of enjoying each other's company. So that trip is really important to me, and it is all about love. And my final word is paradise. Now, I have been to some incredible places all over the world, and Also obviously haven't been everywhere yet, but will do in the future. But one of my most memorable trips, and the trip that is related to the word paradise, is me and Theo's trip to the Maldives in September 2019. So that was a really important trip. It was also a big monumental trip for us because we'd never been somewhere like the Maldives and never had kind of been that side of the world together either. But everything you hear about the Maldives is true. It really did live up to expectations, and we had the best time just snorkeling, swimming, relaxing on the beach, eating good food, spending time together. The water was really as clear as you see in the photos. We ended up snorkeling with a stingray one day. We also found turtles on a little turtle tour that we did. And we just did so much stuff, and for me that trip was a incredibly memorable trip and one that I will remember forever. So those are my memorable words and the trips that relate to them, and even just talking about them now, I'm so thankful for everything I've been able to do over the last couple of years. It has been a strange old world the past 18 months since we came across the pandemic, and it has really reminded me so much on how much I love travelling and connecting with new people and exploring new places, and I just cannot wait now to get back out there. I have a couple of trips planned over the coming weeks and I can't wait to share them with you, so stay tuned for more. There's lots of exciting content coming soon. If you want to see more videos, I upload every Friday, so hit the subscribe button. If you love this video, please give it a thumbs up because everything really helps me in growing this channel, and head over to my Instagram to kind of see what I'm getting up to on a daily basis, and hopefully we'll be back here next Friday for another video. Thank you, bye!